What would happen if Russia decided to launch a nuclear attack on the United States? Imagine for a moment this unthinkable scenario. A cataclysmic event of such magnitude, it's almost beyond comprehension. We're talking about two of the world's most formidable nuclear powers going head-to-head. On one side, we have the United States with its aging nuclear arsenal, constantly maintained and kept ready for potential launch. On the other side, we have Russia, known for its aggressive posturing and its own powerful nuclear capabilities. The stakes are unimaginably high. We're not just talking about the immediate devastation caused by the nuclear strikes. The fallout, both literal and metaphorical, would be far-reaching and long-lasting. The world would be plunged into a new, darker age, an age of nuclear warfare. To deter such a catastrophe, the United States has strategically placed B-61 nuclear bombs in NATO countries. These bombs are meant to serve as a political commitment, a reassurance to our allies, and a warning to our adversaries. But would this deterrence be enough in the face of a full-scale nuclear attack? This unthinkable event would undoubtedly change the world as we know it. In the moments following a nuclear detonation, the impact would be immediate and devastating. The sheer force of the blast wave would decimate buildings, flatten entire cities, and leave nothing but a vast expanse of rubble in its wake. This is not a scene from a dystopian movie, but the harsh reality of a nuclear explosion. The intense heat, hotter than the surface of the sun, would incinerate everything within its reach, leaving a barren landscape devoid of life. This scorching inferno would ignite fires across the city, adding to the chaos and destruction. Then there's the immediate radiation. This invisible killer would permeate the air, poisoning those unfortunate enough to be within its radius. The radiation sickness that follows is a cruel and lingering death sentence, causing severe illness, organ failure, and a slow, painful demise. But the devastation doesn't stop there. The infrastructure that underpins our society, from power grids to communication networks, would be effectively wiped out. In the blink of an eye, we'd be catapulted back into the Dark Ages, with no electricity, no internet, and no means of reaching out to the world. The environmental damage would be catastrophic too. The nuclear fallout would contaminate the air, soil, and water, rendering vast areas uninhabitable for decades, if not centuries, and the loss of life, it's almost too painful to comprehend. Millions of lives extinguished in an instant, with countless more affected in the years to come. The immediate aftermath would be a scene of unimaginable destruction. But the fallout from a nuclear attack extends far beyond the initial blast. The long-term consequences of a nuclear detonation are indeed as devastating as they are enduring. Consider the radioactive fallout. This is the residual radioactive material propelled into the upper atmosphere following a nuclear blast. It can spread over a large area, contaminating the air, water, and soil. This fallout can cause radiation sickness in the short term, with symptoms ranging from nausea and vomiting to more serious health conditions like cancer and death. But the fallout doesn't stop there. It can linger in the environment for years, contaminating food supplies and causing long-term health problems for humans and wildlife alike. Then there's the nuclear winter scenario. In the aftermath of a nuclear war, the ensuing firestorms can propel soot and smoke into the stratosphere, blocking out sunlight and causing temperatures to plummet. This could potentially lead to a complete collapse of the global climate system, resulting in crop failures and widespread famine. A nuclear detonation would also have far-reaching implications on global politics and economies. It could trigger a new arms race, with nations scrambling to bolster their own nuclear capabilities in response. For instance, China, a formidable global power, could potentially develop a fractional orbital bombardment system, or FOBES, to counter missile defense systems. This would only escalate tensions and increase the likelihood of further nuclear conflict. And let's not forget the societal impact, the destruction of infrastructure, the breakdown of communication and transportation systems, and the potential for societal collapse cannot be understated. A nuclear attack could set civilization back decades, if not centuries. The survivors would be left to rebuild in a world scarred by radiation and the memories of a conflict that should never have been. But perhaps the most chilling aspect of a nuclear detonation is the long-term health effects. Radiation exposure can cause genetic mutations, leading to birth defects and other health problems in future generations. The scars of a nuclear war would be carried in the DNA of survivors. a grim reminder of the horrors of nuclear conflict. The long-term effects of a nuclear detonation would be felt for generations to come. We must strive to prevent such a catastrophe for the sake of our children and our children's children. Let's hope that the unthinkable remains just that, unthinkable. A nuclear attack from Russia on the United States is a scenario we hope never to witness. In the event of such an unthinkable occurrence, the immediate aftermath would be marked by devastating loss of life, infrastructure, and environmental damage. The long-term consequences would present even more challenges, from nuclear winter and widespread radiation sickness to the collapse of global political and economic systems. All these potential outcomes underscore the gravity of such a situation and the importance of preventing it. Diplomatic efforts to ease tensions and promote understanding between nations are crucial. Ongoing negotiations on arms control are vital in maintaining a balance and preventing an escalation that could lead to a nuclear conflict. It's a delicate dance on the global stage, a balance of power and diplomacy, a dance we must continue to master for the sake of our shared future. The complexity and cost of maintaining a nuclear arsenal, from aging ICBMs in the United States to the potential for orbital nuclear weapons, serve as stark reminders of the high stakes involved. While it's a scenario we hope never comes to pass, being informed about the potential consequences is a sobering reminder of the importance of peace and diplomacy in our world.